you were one of those who really embraced digitalization and all that, which gives you that edge, and that on top of that, the being more mature, you have the wisdom and the knowledge to pivot and help companies pivot. Now, what about for certain women who feel that maybe they are scared to embrace that new world of like doing business?
Mm.
What would be your advice for them?
Mm. I always believe that every one of us has something that the world needs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So come back to like what is our, what we value most. What is most important for us in life? Yeah. If you have been working before in the past, which part about the work that you enjoy most?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like when you see your customer smile? When you see when you are able to transform something? For me is when I'm able to increase sales or reduce costs, or change, significantly change a certain numbers in the organization.
Right.
That sense of achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So every one of us has that spark, right? What sparks you?
Right.
So start from there first, and then only look out to the world. What is missing in the world?
Mm.
There's so many pains in the world, right? And there will be certain areas that people are willing to pay money and look for the solutions.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But what would you, if someone is thinking about going into business, let's go from the perspective of somebody who's worked and has working experience. And then secondly, for someone who's never worked and stayed home but has the skill set of a accomplished multitasker as a mom and things like that, what would be the three things that they have to do before they decide on what business and how to get into the business?
Mm. The first thing is, of course, for those who have lost their job, either a painful choice, yeah, or by force to go. The first thing is always acknowledge the feelings that we have. And losing job, it's one of the biggest traumatic experience that anybody can have. When we are not prepared to let go of the job, and then we are suddenly asked to go, let go.
Right.
And that feelings, that emotion is similar to the feelings of the emotions of when we lost our loved one
Mhm.
accidentally, right? Or when our loved ones or ourselves, we suddenly found out that we have cancer,
Yeah.
for example, right? So take the time to acknowledge that feelings, right? So that is very, very crucial.
Mhm.
And the second step is look back to what you have done before. What is important? What is value to you? What are you passionate about? What are your strengths? What are the people? What are people saying that, hey, you are really good in this area,
Right.
right? And now I say 50, right? It's like, wow, we have 50 years of valuable life experiences, that bring us to, we begin to be very comfortable, begin to acknowledge who we are, our strength, our identity, our network, the things in the past, the failure, the success, the learnings, the lesson that we had.
Right.
So it's a very good, I call it 50 is like the next new journey to the next 50. Because, with medical science today, a lot of us can be healthier than the previous generation,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So the second one is, looking back to that strengths and everything else that we had, right? And what is the third point is, what pain in the world that we are passionate about solving.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that factor, there are a lot of pain in the world, but not every pain people are willing to pay money to pay for it.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? Yeah. So look into the one of the good way to do it is, let's say for example, we are passionate in cooking, for example.
Mm.
Right? Look at all the cooking show, the gurus and whoever that you look out to, and then look for what is still missing.
Mm.
At the comments, look at the feedbacks. What else is that common, like cry out from the consumer and say, oh, do more of this,
Right. Right.
right? Yeah. So this is where your niche is.
So that will also apply to the housewife who's looking at finding something for themselves or supplementing family income. And also, it's like usually in the women in their 50s, their children are adults, so there's less need for them. And there's also a lot of them do get into some form of depression because there's no more they don't feel that they are useful to the family. And actually doing a business is a good way to kind of build a skill set, help complement families' income and things like that. And so you are saying that, okay, even if I'm a housewife, I sit down and actually write down what are my skills that I can actually be beneficial, the pros and the cons. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, I would say it's easier to write down what you're passionate about.
Hmm.
Yeah, so from what you're passionate about, do you have skills in those areas or not?
Right. But
Uh,
there are a lot of people who find it difficult to find their passion.
mm.
So what would you advise?
Okay. One of the simplest way is just go to internet, Google it. I probably will develop that form too. So, the list of even with ChatGPT, there are so many already, right? List of passion, right?
Right.
And then you pick off, okay, which one that when I look at it, look at those words, like, oh my god, I like this.
Right.
So like Google, like list of hobbies or list of values. Yeah. So passion is one thing, values is another.
Can you define values to the audience?
Values is, for example, honesty is important to me. Yeah, integrity or let's say fairness is important. Yeah, some
Okay.
people could be like making people happy is important to me.
Right.
Right, be a kind person, be a good person is important to me. Yeah, those character, those values, what is important.
Right. Okay. And one of the challenge is, um, I feel a lot of women, I mean, not just women, even men, is that when you get to a certain age, you are quite reluctant for change. And how, because you like things status quo, even if the status quo is not really good, you
Mm.
want to be in status quo because you don't want to rock the boat kind of thing. What would be the best advice to get women to say, hey, snap out of it? For me, I know that my biggest thing is I don't want to die thinking that I didn't even try.
Oh my God, that's what me too.
Right. So
Yeah.
I wanted to at least say I tried it. So if I fail, I failed. But at least I tried, and at least I know that okay, moving on, done it. That kind of thing, right? So what would you advise most women, especially who are quite scared because it's a very challenging environment, especially the digital world. How would you advise somebody who wants to embark into that?
Okay. Now there is a difference between those who are scared, which is those who want to move forward but they are just scared. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And also those who just felt that, at this point of life, I just want to relax, I'm okay. If those who are at that category, it's okay. At the end of the day, it's own the life that we want.
Right.
Right. Now let's talk about those who are thinking of, I'm still, 50 is actually still young.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so for those who want to move on and but fearful, now one of the things that actually helps me to be able to look at there's the next X curve, the next things that I can build,
Mhm.
it's look at people who are 60, 70, 80. I actually have pictures of them.
Right.
One is Michelle Yeoh, right? So she's 10 years my senior, right? So I'll be like, oh my God, 10 years down the road, who do I want to be? I want to be somebody like this. I want to have a body like that.
Right. Yeah.
Still looks good and things like that, right? And the other person is I cannot remember her name. Elon Musk's mother.
Oh, May Musk.
Yes,
I
correct.
love her. I absolutely adore that woman. I mean, she must be 80, going on 80. She
Mm,
looks amazing.
yes, and the white hair is so beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
the whole thing, and I always believe that the beauty, is coming from inside,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that so. In fact, I think she just got some a doctorate or PhD recently,
Oh,
and yeah, I'm kind of a stalker because follow her a lot.
that's fantastic. So we will always have role models, because then we can see how it looks like,
Yeah,
10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, right?
right,
And the other thing is, I also saw that, I mean, through my work, right, I observed and saw that a lot of those who came out at the 40s, 50s, 60s, right, the percentage of this group, success rate for this group is much more higher because we have the life experiences. We have the, what do you call that, the network, right? Network of people that we know. We already know what we want to get into, what we don't want to get into. So it's easy for us to say no to many good things
right.
and just focus on the things that we want to build.
Oh, that's very true. True. I never thought about it because younger people, yeah, I suppose they have the drive, the energy, but maybe not the
Insights.
insight and the networking that most older people would have. But it is something that yeah, I wanted to ask for the audience is that if someone is right at that stage and you know doesn't have a job but want to be still contributing to society, to the family, what are the few questions that they should ask themselves
Mm,
before deciding on a business? Because it's something that you mentioned putting down their strength and weakness, but besides that,
mm,
is what about the monetary bit? What about what noise should they put aside? Because there will always be noise. There will
mm,
always be noise. So, what would you
mm.
advise?
Yeah. One of the misconceptions about doing money is doing business is we need a lot of money. At 50 and above, right, we have a lot of life experiences. One of the, I call it the least capital business that we can go into is actually education.
Okay.
Yeah, teaching, right? Teach someone how to be a mother, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, teach someone how to overcome anything, that at the younger age that we face.
Right.
Right, yeah, so focus on the areas that we are passionate about. Yeah, it could be being a mother, it could be how to grow in your career. There are some people who are more towards that. It could be even how to start a business as a woman in a world that is like, full of men. Business.
Dominated. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. So find the areas that you always have passion in overcoming it, and people, just go to you and ask you advice in those areas. Because if people come to you and ask you advice in those areas, means that they see that your strength is there,
Mm.
and they look up to you and they want to mentor by you.
Right. Okay. So, just give example. Let's say everyone comes to you for advice on bringing up your children and how you build your relationship with your spouse. Uh, what can they do? Beside how can I teach to the masses?
Mm. Um, Teaching is definitely one areas that a lot of people are looking out for. A lot of people now looking for short courses or what we call short information, quick
Mhm.
information, right? So start with something. If let's say these are like your target audience, right? So if they are the ones that usually spend time scrolling on, let's say, Instagram, right? So teaching in Instagram, do Instagram like posting, like maybe like 30 seconds or 1 minute, nothing more than that,
Right.
right?
Mm.
If your audience are more the Facebook types hanging around there, then do that. All right. So
Mhm.
you actually start to build community of people and give a lot of values, give a lot of educations towards that.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
but we will have that question as well. A lot of these women will say, "I don't know how to use the social media." So what platform or what resource can we do to learn this skill?
Yeah, there is actually a lot of education or even like free education in YouTube that teaches how to use any of these social media. My my preference is just focus on one first,
Mm.
right? Let's say, for example, Instagram or TikTok. In fact, in TikTok, right, I saw a few ladies who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. They just talk about, like, there's one lady, she was talking about financial planning, basic life financial planning. And there's no like makeup, beautiful background like what you have. She was just like this, hair not really like perfectly in place. But every of her video was 30 seconds, and she just talk about 1 to 3 points. That's it. Simple. Yeah. So the key thing is just get into action. And I always say that the first 100 that you do, right, it actually help us to build confidence. It also help us to build our content.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And of course, as you go through it, you begin to realize that I I like this or I don't like this. Okay. Then they start pivoting. Yeah.
Correct. Oh, before we go, would you give your word of wisdom for women who are looking to pivot in their career?
Yeah. I believe that every one of us has something unique, right? That the world needs, like what I say just now, right? So the key thing is to find your spark and make your mark.
Great advice.